Welcome, everyone. It's Mechs on Deck. It's Keycap Designer Month here on the Mechs on Deck channel. Today we have Dixie Mech. How you doing?
I'm good. How are y'all?
Doing well.
I'm good. Good,
Good
man.
to hear.
Good. Well, roll tide.
Roll Tide. I got my shirt on for you.
Heck yeah. Heck, I would wear mine, but my family thinks I'm much smaller than I am.
I almost wore my my Oklahoma Sooners polo, but then I realized that I don't really want to wear that. So
I don't know if I am rooting for Oklahoma or not this year.
yeah, a little
Oh,
Jalen
yeah.
Haven't quite
Hurts.
decided.
Jalen Hurts complex. I'll root
Yeah,
for
it's
him.
a weird situation.
Well,
Welcome to Mechs on Deck. We're going to talk about college football for
Yeah.
the next hour and a half.
we're here to talk about football.
You probably could.
Yeah, we probably could.
we need to do an off-topic stream.
Viewers.
No, we'll be talking about keycaps, being a designer and a vendor. But first, I want to give a big shout out to our vendors. Relbit, I see you in the chat there. Run switchmod.net. You can go to switchmod.net/mechsondeck to get 4% off your lube and whatever other needs you have that Krellbit can provide. You can also get GMK handle Barrett, Brit, however you say that.
6 more.
Six
6 more.
6 away. It's a very colorful set if you're into colors. But yeah, and then Zap cables. Get yourself some custom cables. You can get a DIY kit. You can get yourself a custom cable made by John and his wife. Starting Monday at 1 p.m. It's great stuff. They do a good job.
Look at that. You can even use it for a microphone.
Yeah.
I need to get one of those. I have a boring rubber black one. The normal one.
You got to flex even with a microphone cable.
Well, I have the mini USB that I've all my boards are Type C now. You know,
Is your
weird
microphone
flex,
Type
but
C?
It's no, it's a mini USB. So I was like, all right, well, I'm not going to use this. Oh, there you go. Fancy.
I got this from him the other day. Last
Nice.
cable I'll ever need.
There you go.
There you go.
Just switch it out.
Easy peasy. So, all right. Well, this is going to be our third guest on what we have kind of coined the Keycap Designer Month in July. So this is going to be our first kind of designer as well as vendor. So we kind of get both sides to the story. So very excited about that. But real quick, so what we did, what we've done in the past 2 weeks is done kind of a fast 4 questions, the questions that a lot of people like to know. What are your top 3 favorite switches?
I don't know if in any top 3 answers I'm going to be giving them in order, but
yeah,
I can give you a top 3. I'd say Gatoron yellows lubed, vintage blacks lubed, and the third one was a toss up between Gatoron inks and Telios, but Gatoron inks are cheaper and give you somewhere around the same experience, so I'm going to pick the inks.
There you go. There you go. Very nice. Linear guy.
Linear man.
Oh, yeah.
Here.
Captain Linear. So, top 3 boards. Your favorite boards. They can be vintage boards. They can be boards
Even
you
if I've
built.
never owned them?
Yeah, I mean, just in general. I would say maybe have one that maybe you've built or
Okay.
have.
I'm going to say Bauer. No bias there. The N65A and the Key Colt number 2.
Solid choices.
Solid choices.
Your top 3 keycap sets. Your favorite keycap sets. GMK 8008. We are going to eliminate from this contention.
That actually wasn't on my list.
Oh, well, there you go. You heard it here. Dixie hates his own design.
That technically it doesn't exist, so
it doesn't. Not yet.
I have a top 4. Sorry, I couldn't narrow it down to 3. So my top 3 has always been Muted, 9009, and Modern Dolch. but Metropolis has snuck its way in to my top sets, and I just can't really pick anything over it. That's my one like not boring in my top. I'm kind of the guy that just likes all the boring ones, Honeywell, Oblivion. So I thought I'd put Metropolis in there to seem a little more fun.
There you go.
Netflix a good dude. That was
Hey,
It's one of my favorite sets like of the year.
There you go. There you go. Are you making the call right now for key set of the year?
I think as of this moment, I think Metropolis and Mizu are up there, like head to head. I don't, which I'm not going to pick one or the other right now on the stream. But Metropolis is the only purchase I've made this year in key sets, and I bought all of it, which I don't count like the sets I run as purchasing them because I just keep one when they come in. So, yes, kind of.
Nice. All right. And then top 3 favorite foods.
Chick-fil-A number 1.
There you go.
A lot of people that know me know that that's obvious number 1. I like just cheeseburger and fries. Basically, anywhere I go out to eat, that's what I get. I'm a guy that I know what I like. I get it. I don't try new things. And my third would be, I guess, whatever you call Americanized Mexican food. So Tex-Mex, maybe?
Yeah.
Like Chipotle, Moe's kind of thing. I don't know what the actual term for that is. I'm not in Texas, so I don't know if that's a term to use. But yeah.
It's a capital T, lowercase m, Tex-Mex.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tex-Mex is good.
Tex-Mex is solid. Yeah, so awesome. So real quick, we're about to get into some 8008 questions. I'll start us off real quick. Why did you copy GMK Olivia?
Well, every keycap designer, that's their goal, is to just get as close to Olivia as they can and get away with it. I almost got away with it, but one single person on Reddit called me out. That's the only reason I made that little comparison, is because like one person on Reddit, 100% serious, said it and was like, they were all in on that opinion, and I was like, is this real? It's like, okay, I guess I'll just go ahead and get this out of the way.
I feel like no matter what, every set should do that just to like just for the meme of it, you know?
I think I've seen a few that have been doing it, even in the exact same layout that I did it.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's so funny now that I just scroll to the bottom just to see if I can see the next one that's comparing. Some of them it actually matters because it doesn't actually look like it. But then when you see them right next to each other, you 100% are like, oh, yeah, that looks nothing like it.
Like cough, cough, Mizu.
Yeah. Which I chopped it up to it being like the blue and gold dress illusion. Or some people see one thing, some people see the other. But that was crazy. Like
someone says, "What's the hander be it?" comparison. Also, real quick, Krelbit and Mr. Petrov, thank you for the 1 month subs. So
appreciate it. So before we get into the questions, we will say that we are consuming some adult beverages tonight.
Yes.
If we want to go around and say what we're consuming, I'll go first. I'm drinking a 6-point high res double dry hopped. It's a very good IPA. If you have the ability to get it, I would say try it.
I'm drinking a boring Shiner Light Blonde because I did not prepare for this, and we had this conversation like an hour ago. Also, I do not condone underage drinking. I have to say that because of my job.
It's very true.
Y'all said to bring brews, but I decided to bring dews instead.
Ooh.
I'm just drinking them out.
I like it. Channeling Diva.
Pinky's out. Yeah, so the first question, what, if any, were your projects before 8008?
My projects by myself. Technically, SA Magic City was a thing. It was very small. What I advertised as a small batch key set, which is basically just kind of like at a brewery. I assume y'all know, just a little something to try out. Not really trying to get anything big. Just a few people want to try it. So we did that just kind of on a whim. So I guess that was technically the first thing I've ever done all by myself. But before that, I've done a few other helping out here and there. But I'd say Magic City is probably that's the first thing that I just did, and I never expected to actually do it. But Otani's shock one day was just like, "Dude, when are you gonna do this?" And for some reason, I must have been in a good mood that day because like that interest check was like 2 months old, 2 or 3 months old, and I would just considered it dead, and it wasn't ever gonna happen.
Mhm.
And then like a month later, I paid for the cap, so I was like, "What the heck happened?"
And then I saw somewhere that you said you had a little bit of input with Modern Dolch.
Yeah, that's probably the one that I had the most input that I've been a vendor on. Um, like all the other ones that I was a vendor on, I kind of was just there to help out with the questions and give feedback. But Modern Dolch, I was actually there with Jan basically every step of the way, all the way through it. So it was his idea, and he did everything up front and came to me. But then once he came to me, I was like, okay, let's do this. And then we both just went in it together from there. Um, so I always consider it his project because it was his. I just was like, I can help out in these ways to make it this much better. So, and it was, I think that's the one that got me in. Like, okay, I really like doing this.
Mm,
Um,
very nice.
so yeah.
So, I messed up the list, so you're up.
Okay. All right, so we know a little bit about the inspiration for 8008. We know it came from a sports bra. Can you walk us through the discovery of
The
said
legendary
sports bra?
I guess it was last summer. Has it really been a year? I was at the beach for some reason. It might have been last August, so we're coming in on a year. And we went in Gulf Shores, Alabama. There's an outlet mall. That's the outlet mall that everyone goes to, and there's a Nike outlet there. And we always go because I get like 4 pairs of shorts a year, and I wear them, and then I get new ones the next year. And we were in the checkout line. It was like wrapping around the building. And we were standing there, and we were going through the women's section. And I looked up, and I was like, "Holy crap! That could be a key set." All the other dudes looking up saying "Holy crap" for other reasons. I looked up and said that could be a key set. So I turned to my wife, which I don't even know if she was my wife at the time. I can't remember when it was, but I was like, "Will you buy this for me?" Because I wasn't going to go up and buy it by myself. So she did me the solid of buying it for me.
That's awesome. I'm
But
excited
I
that you bought
immediately
it.
knew when I saw it.
Yeah, it takes confidence as a man to ask a woman, "Can you buy me this sports bra?" So props.
I told her why, and she was like, "No, okay." But
That sports bra will be in the keyboard
I was like, I
museum,
know this
keyboard
key.
museum in 5 years or 50 years.
It's right here. I can't show you though.
Oh,
It's top
rip.
secret. No one's ever seen it.
That's fair.
Maybe one day.
I did find a pair of shoes that I'm 99% sure that's the exact same colorway Nike used for that sports bra.
Well, the thing about outlet malls is it's basically where they dump everything they didn't sell
Yeah.
from everywhere else. So anything that's in an outlet mall, you're probably not going to ever see again because it's there because nobody wanted it.
Mhm.
Which means, like, I've looked on the internet for this thing and I've only found one image anywhere, just a picture. Like, you can't buy it at all, which is kind of crappy.
Yeah, because
I would have sold them with
well,
the
a
key
lot
set
of
if I could.
what you should do is you should take the original one, you should cut it up into pieces and put it in different sets, and then it'd be like a reward for
We'll
for
do
the
a
people to buy.
victory auction for it.
There you go.
There you go. But yeah, a lot of those things like that in outlet stores, they make like special editions or special lines just for outlet stores. That's probably what it is.
It might have been.
Yeah.
I would have bought a few of them if I realized I'd never find it again.
There you go. So, when was the when was the final design? When did you finish that up and kind of go, all right, I think I'm ready to take this to interest check? Did it sit in kind of limbo before you took it to interest check, or?
I think the second I got back from that trip, I immediately mocked it up and I was like, this is exactly how it's gonna be. It was like first try. It was just like I guess because I had been thinking about it the whole time since I had bought it before I could get to my computer. So before I even got to the computer, I already knew exactly how I was gonna do it. Um and with the way that these colors were, there was like one obvious way to do it. It wasn't like I needed to just move colors around for hours and hours. Which I think that's why when I saw it, it immediately popped in my head. It was just like, these are the perfect 3 colors. Um, but because I had all these other key sets, Modern Dolch ran, and then I got married in September, and then we moved to a new city and a new house. So basically, from the end of Modern Dolch until Minimal in like February, I was basically didn't do anything. Um, I just didn't want to do too much at one time with all this new stuff happening. So I just didn't take any new projects on, which means that that project also kind of got pushed. So it wasn't until I came back in this spring, really full force. I can't even remember when I posted the interest check.
Wasn't too
But it
long
was,
ago.
yeah, I mean, it was only a few months ago. So it was probably at least 8 months after the day that I saw it before I even posted the interest check. But not for the normal reasons that people have where they just were working on it. It just wasn't ever a good time because of how much stuff was happening.
Yeah.
So that's really the only reason.
And if any, what was your biggest fear when putting it into interest check and kind of unveiling your sports bra key set to the world?
I always had this weird nervousness when I post anything. Which this is the one key set that I've designed. I've designed a lot that I've never showed anyone.
Mhm.
But this is the one when I saw it and I was like, this is the one. Like this is the second I saw it, I was like, I know there's just something about the way the colors flow that you can tell that they are meant to be in that exact spot. Like I got it right.
Mhm.
There's a lot of them where you design them and you're like, it's almost there, but I can't really tell why it's not there. So I was like, I know this is good. Everybody's gonna like this, but there's always that thing in the back of your head that's like, I'm putting this thing out there for other people to judge me on. Um, which even as a designer, you're trained to deal with that, but it's still always there. I don't think there was anything in particular. It was just the normal human thing of showing people something I created and
Yeah, being
waiting to
weary.
hear from 'em. Yeah.
So, did you have, I know you said you kind of nailed it the first try, but did you kind of have any changes? Was there any subtle changes? I know, like I said, I know you had mentioned that you kind of think you nailed it the first try, but yeah, just what were, if any, kind of changes or color matching process?
Yeah, there were changes in because
Hello?
I am
Hold on real
um
quick. Sorry, we're having a little
You went,
laggy
oh
issue.
sorry. Um
All right,
there
if
we
you don't
go.
mind
We're
just
in the green.
restarting.
I will have hopefully the colors approved and confirmed before the group buy starts. And if not, it'll be like right after it starts. But that's really the only little changes that have happened is me trying to get as close to what is on these fabrics in front of me and what I've shown in the renders. So I got the first round of samples and they weren't quite what I wanted. And then kind of was leaning to where like the renders were slightly different than what I was seeing in real life. So I sat there for like 3 hours looking at the screen the fabric and the samples. And I was like, so do I make the renders look more like the real life, or do I make the real life look more like the renders? And I just could not decide. Like, and then I ended up just deciding I like the renders more, which is good because that's what everyone else has seen. So yeah, that's just the thing. It's these weird versions of colors. They're not just like saturation turned all the way up really easy. It's just red. It's like a blue gray. So it's kind of those weird colors. But hopefully after this round it'll be good. But
So
that's really the only changes. The kits also, because I mean I'm always playing with kits, trying to perfect them. But as far
yeah,
as the actual design, I never planned on doing novelties. This wasn't like a I don't know. Can I say the word boob on Twitch?
Yeah, you can.
yeah, you can, you can.
This isn't a boob themed set. A lot of people, I mean, it's a meme, it's fun. It gets everyone excited for it, but it's not like themed after it. It's just inspired by clothing that happened to go in that spot. Like, so the name was just too perfect. I was like, I happen to run 9009. It's based off of this. Like, there's no way I can't name it this.
Yeah,
Um, so that's
Although
this.
a sports bra novelty would be would be an
Yeah, I mean,
amazing novelty key.
a lot of people have been wanting them, but I always said that I'm just gonna make this a colorway.
Yeah.
And that's it. Just because I didn't want it to get too weird too fast.
yeah. It's like that's like a slippery slope you can go down pretty quick.
Yeah, like I didn't want like a product page with like, here's the boob novelty and have to explain it. I was like, it's a hint, it's a subtle joke. And if you get it, you get a chuckle. And if not, it doesn't mean anything. It still looks the way it looks.
Yeah,
Um,
it's small
so
enough to
yeah.
where eventually, like, when people see it on Mech Market, they'll have no idea. They'll just be like, "Oh, I like that. I'm gonna buy
Yeah.
it." You know?
I guess just from a business perspective and me personally, I didn't want that to be something I was selling or
Yeah.
under that reason.
Absolutely. And I know you said you kind of feel like you got it on the first try in terms of the design. What was that feeling like when the entire set really felt like it came together?
Like I said, I've had like at least 15 or 20 that I've had ideas for, and they just like, this, I can't get this right. It just doesn't look good. I'm not even going to show anyone. It's not worth it. So it's like when I did this one, I was like, the second I saw it, I was like, holy crap. I was like there's some like legendary key sets that it's like hyperfuse, hydro. The way they're set up, it's like they are perfect. Everything is exactly where it needs to go. And you couldn't improve it if you tried. And the second I saw it, I was like, is this? I was like, holy crap! This just looks like I didn't even make it. It looks like this should already exist. Is basically what I thought. Like I had to go and ask a bunch of people, like, does this look like anything that exists? Because why do I think that this already exists? That's basically what my thought was. Is this looks so good that I think it's been done before. Luckily it hadn't, except Olivia, but
Except, I mean, yeah, no, we can't all be perfect. with Olivia. So, how is designing the alphas? Because it's a very unique alpha colorway.
like I said, I didn't really put much thought into it. It's just like I had 3 colors and they just kind of fell right into place where they needed to go. I think the only option at the beginning that took 30 seconds to decide one or the other was, do I make only the mods of Pink Glitch?
Mm.
And I tried it with pink and it was like, nope. And then it was done. So it was like, because I've never been one for like bright in your face Miami Skeletor kind of things. So I was like, this is just enough pop, but it's not like gonna take over your eyeballs when you look at it.
Yeah.
So that's why I went with the alphas being the more toned down look, is just so that it wasn't just like pink everywhere, just like diluting everything with pink.
Absolutely. So our past couple designers have said that they really kind of more made the set that they created for themselves. Um, and got others on board with it in turn. Is 8008 something that you designed more for yourself, or when you saw it where you're like, the community needs this colorway?
I don't really know. Because it's not, I feel like Olivia, she wanted a rose gold key set. So she made one. She knew up front what she wanted it to look like. I didn't know that I was ever going to make this until I saw that thing. So it's not like I knew I need a key set with some pink and some grayish blues. It just happened and I was like, that's it. So once I saw it, I did want it. So I
Same.
guess a little bit of both. I guess it had to be planted in front of me for me to know that I wanted it. But I just knew it was going to be too good to not do. I was like, I can't let this moment pass. It was a weird moment.
So, outside of most likely, I assume the Bower, what boards do you have planned for 8008?
Funny enough, I literally have not even thought about it.
Hmm.
Just which I guess might answer the other question you just asked unknowingly, that I may not have designed this for myself if I haven't even thought about what board I'm going to put it on. I mean, yeah, the Bower has the renders, which Jan is the one who even did that. I didn't even tell him, hey, put this on a color matched Bower. He was just like, dude, look at this. And I was like, oh, that's awesome. Yeah, I literally don't even know.
Yeah, I don't.
That's kind of embarrassing.
Well, I mean, you know, it's not like some of the other sets where they're like, you know, they're have already run or are close to being, you know, in the hands of the designer. So it's not like
Yeah.
it's not like you're having to have that thought just yet. You've got some time.
I don't swap key sets out a lot. Like, I'm somebody that each keyboard that I purchase, I'm attempting to find the in-game key set for that keyboard.
Yep.
So I have the Tiffany colored M65. The second I put muted on it, I was like, I'm never taking it off ever again. And it's done. This keyboard is finished. So I guess I don't really have that many keyboards right now that need a key set. So I guess that's why I haven't thought about it.
There you go.
Yeah. So next question is, what is the process like when working with GMK? Like getting the actual spot for the machine time samples, and then just like going through the process of approving everything.
With GMK, it's like so easy. Just because they are so good at what they do and they like doing what they do. And now that I've done it so many times, it's even better. I joke with some people saying, I even joked with GMK employee the other day that we've gotten so good at it that I could literally run a group buy through GMK with 2 emails. It was like, we've just done it so many times. It's like, you need a quote email and an order and we're done. But it's been great. And every time I do one, it gets better. Samples, I mean, they're pretty easy too. Now that I've done it a few times, you know what not to do. Once you mess up, you know not to do that again. Trying to think of anything specific. Samples are fun, but very scary. Because I love color matching stuff, especially from plastic to screen to paper. It's insanely challenging, and when you know a ton of people, it really puts the pressure.
Yeah, I remember the color matching process. Now, I guess tying question from Modern Dolch: how much of that was Yang versus you with the color matching process?
So the actual color matching, as in physically seeing them, was all Jan. 2 reasons: he is the brains behind the whole beginnings of it, and he was physically closer. It would have been like a month turnaround to send them to me and send them. He was like right there, so it was like, this is just smarter to just do it. So basically, he just did it, and then once he thought that the finals were final, he sent them to me. I was like, "Yeah, we're good." And then that was it. So yeah, he did most of the heavy lifting on that. I helped out before the set on picking the cyan and picking the red. I think the red, we kept his original red that he picked, but the cyan, I think we went with a different one I suggested that was a little bit lighter to make it a little more modern feeling than the original that was like almost a deep cyan. Um, but I've told a few people that red that we originally picked ended up being in the metallic collection, which but way back then, it was when like Jan just picked it off of a screen, and then I just looked at it in a Pantone book that was on paper, but my paper wasn't metallic. So like 3 months into the color matching process, they tell us we can't match this because it has a metallic sheen to it. So they're like, at what angle are we matching this? Because the red changes because it's got a reflection in it. So we were
Hmm.
like, holy crap, we sold everyone with renders of this red and they can't make it. So we had to like try to find a red that was as close to that red as possible. And I mean, that was scary. It took us a few times to get it right. But the red ended up like incredible. Like that's probably my favorite red on the keycap. Oh, I have one right here. Yeah. It's like it's this nice rosy pink. It was very hard, so it made it very satisfying when it finally came in. And you're like, "Oh, we did it."
Yeah.
And it actually looks good.
So and Sophia Wolf, we were just talking about Modern Dolch. We've kind of wrapped up 8008 a little bit. We'll kind of come back to it, but we were talking about Modern Dolch and that color matching process. So
Yeah. And the grays we got right on the first try. Those were easy.
nice. Yeah, I remember because I got in on the group buy. That was probably my second key set group buy, like actual group buy and not just buying extras. And I remember whenever the first ones came out, the blue was real dark, but then the second time, whenever the final product came out, the final test keys from GMK, I was like, I am so glad I got this set.
Yeah, I mean,
So
the second he showed me the idea, I was like, this is going to be a modern classic, is what I like to call it. Like I knew that it would there's some key sets and when people showed them to me, I can immediately tell like this is going to be it. There's some of them that are like, we need to do some work, we can get it there. But like Modern Dolce, I was like, don't even say no mo. Like
It's done.
we're doing this, it's going to be awesome. So yeah, that was just really fun. I love working with Jan.
So with an increasing number of key sets as a kind of wouldn't say almost requiring more peripherals such as desk mats has been the huge thing in the last 6 months, and cables and other things. Do you think that this is kind of a good thing or a bad thing from a vendor standpoint? Does it make it a little more complicated and adding extra things that you're having to try and potentially sell to people? I know Mizu went through at least 6 or 8 key or desk mat options and all of that. So how is that kind of process with how many that adds an entirely different element of design that can be a little more difficult. So
Yeah, I like the desk mats and the extra little peripherals. I think people when they see a key set, they like subconsciously if there's all these other things with it, they can tell that this person and these people are really excited about this and they really see potential in this project and it's just I think it's a subconscious thing that if you see how excited the person who is making it is, it's going to be good. Like when you just see something that is like here's a key set, here's some KLEs, it's like okay. But when you see that guy who posts the interest check and he got like 50,000 renders, he's got like a brand around it, he's got a website, you're like, dang, this guy is ready. I'm ready too. So I think that kind of goes along with it when you can get the whole setup. And you're like, I can make everything Mizu. I can make everything. And because they're fairly cheap additions, it's like there's no reason not to do them. Obviously, if it was like we're gonna be making custom PC cases that go along with it, we start being like, okay, this is a little too much. But because it's just cables and desk mats, I think it's fine, and I enjoy it. It's just because I do like designing. It's just another fun medium and a different shape that you get to mess with. Because keycaps, you're very limited. I mean, there's colors and spots, only 2 colors per key. So when you're like, I have all these ideas of all this stuff, you got this big blank canvas, so you can do whatever you want. So it's kind of fun. Um, I don't know how far I would want to go with it, like sunglasses or weird things like that.
Yeah.
But
I want to see. I think GMK Cafe did it, and I want to see mugs.
Yeah.
well, see,
would
cafe
buy
makes sense.
Yeah, and that makes sense. But like, I think you could do a mug with just a logo on it.
Yeah, I mean that's another thing where they're cheap and you don't have to buy like 1,000 of them. So even if only 20 people want them, okay, I'll just buy 20 and those 20 people get them. There's no risk involved.
Mm-hmm.
There's desk mats. There's a little more risk because the MOQ is decently high. So I don't know if I'd ever want to go more than 2 designs for a key set because you're just spreading yourself too thin. But yeah, I do like when the key sets have a cool little novelty item with them. Like cafe obviously would really be cool if it had an actual coffee cup that went with it.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's cool when stuff has little things that just go with the set like that. It's pretty fun. I can't think of another one off the top of my head, but Skeet Otta had a mug too.
I
don't know
I know,
why, but it was
I
cool.
want that red camping novelty cup, just GMK camping, because they
Ooh.
have like
That'd be pretty
so many
sweet.
novelties. It'd be like, she need to hit up King Misty and just be like,
Dude,
bro,
if you
let's
had a
make this.
camping that was one of those aluminum coffee mugs, like the camping
Yeah,
ones,
like an actual
yeah, that
camping
would be
coffee
cool.
mug, and then just have all the designs on it. Like that's one thing that I wish that a lot of people that, I mean, I know some people don't actually make novelties, but even just having a cup that kind of sprinkled
Yep.
in the same colors would be fun.
I think it's really fun to do those, but then there's some that just somebody makes a joke and it's funny.
Mm-hmm.
But for some reason, we got to push the joke to become an actual physical thing every single time.
Yep.
Which kind of is like, okay, it was funny. The moment was fun, but we don't need to go make a life-sized stuffed animal that looks like the character from like. So,
Yeah.
I think there's a line, but
Yeah.
I don't think we've hit it. I don't think anyone's hit the line, so I don't actually know what the line is yet.
I think the line would be making custom sports bras. So
Yeah, with the
Okay,
with the
well, there's the
logo,
line.
with the like where the swoosh goes, you just put the 8008 logo.
Yeah.
8008.
It's probably good that they don't sell them anymore because
Yeah. But in that, I know you talked a little bit about saying that the color matching for the red of Modern Dolce was pretty hard, but what is another struggle or your biggest struggle that you've had working with GMK?
I'd say the biggest struggle, which isn't anyone's fault, is just time difference.
Mhm.
There's really nothing you can do about it. Just because, like, if I email them during my day, it's actually like a whole nother day for them, which then means when they respond, I go to sleep, and then it's a whole nother day for me. So it's like one reply will take 2 days.
Mhm.
So it kind of gets frustrating, especially when you email and then you're like, oh crap, I forgot this thing, and that's 2 days you gotta wait to even just get it. Which I always mess up. I feel like I sit there and read the email like 6 times to make sure I don't forget something, and the second I hit send, no! Like, but, like, they're just so nice and so understanding that I end up feeling bad when I'm like, "Oh, I messed this up 3 times. Don't hate me." There's, like, nothing negative to say about them. Just really weird to say about a huge company that manufactures things from you. I mean, the only complaint I've ever had is Modern Dolce. Was our first round of samples took like 3 months to even get to us, which I don't know what it was. I was never told, and I mean that's the reason it was delayed. We only did 2 rounds of samples, but like I sent them our Pantone chips before the group buy even ended in September, and we didn't get the first round to December. So we were kind of freaking out. Like people are like, "What the heck's going on? We got no updates." And we were just like, "I don't know." But that's the only thing I've ever had. Which, so
I mean, it happens. So how is I don't know. I'm looking very, very quick. Probably should have done my due diligence, but with companies, I don't actually know exactly who made XDA Oblique, and then I believe SA Bliss is going to be Signature Plastics.
yeah.
So how has been working with those other companies kind of outside of the GMK realm?
It really shows you how amazing GM when you don't have them. Which, to be honest, I mean, Cherry, I think, is overall considered the best profile, but it doesn't help all the other profiles that the business side is also top tier.
Mm-hmm.
Because it just attracts you to it. I want to work with them, even if I want this other profile. It's just so much easier. XDA, I literally have no idea where it came from.
It just showed up.
Z Frontier did everything with XDA Oblique.
Ah,
So like I literally never even knew who it was, where it was coming from. And it was
So-
very scary. And I probably won't ever do an XDA set because it was just scary. Not knowing where I was sending the money to, what was going on, who it was, if we were ever gonna see the keycaps. So that was kind of scary. Signature Plastics is, I mean, they're nice to work with. They're in America, so the same time zones, quick responses. They're not as big and professional as GMK, but I mean, they do good stuff. They do quality work, so there's nothing bad to say about them. It's just GMK is just so good.
yeah.
It's like even the normally good people, just
Yeah.
it's
You're getting spoiled.
yeah, no. I mean, I think it's because the people at GMK really, really love what they do, and you
Mhm.
can tell. It's like the actual owner, like the guy who is the K in GMK, is who I email every time I need anything.
Wow.
And I've asked him many times, "Do you want to give me someone else to talk to, like a sales rep or something?" He's like, "No, it's cool." It's like this guy just really likes what we do, and everyone's like, enthusiast is the small, tiny portion of GMK. We don't matter to them. And I'm like, the value part might be true, but like they just really like doing what we do because I'm sure everyone else that buys them are like, give me 400 million black keycap sets.
Yeah.
So I think that's just why it's so much fun. It's fun to work with someone that also enjoys it as much as you do.
That is awesome. So switching to, I guess, being more of a vendor in that process, in terms of like finding sets to run and whatnot. How often do the designers come to you rather than you, seeing a set and approaching them about it?
Probably 90 something percent coming to me. Um, it multiple times a week. I have people pitching me sets. I even like opened a little submission form on my website just because I would always lose the messages in Discord and I
Mhm.
would feel horrible about it. So I was kind of trying to organize them all in one place. Um, but there are some, like I said earlier, that the second I see them, I know that it's going to be because I love it and I'm like, I have to have this. I want to be the one to make sure this thing is perfect. Is basically the way I'm thinking about it. That's kind of how I guess Dracula is a good example. The second I saw Dracula, I was like, this cannot be messed up. I'm not saying that other people would mess it up, but I was like, I'm going to take on the responsibility of making sure this comes out the way that everyone wants it to. So that one, like, I messaged immediately. And then there's others where people suggested me and then they came to me and they were like, oh, yeah, let's do it. But majority are people pitching me sets, which that's just kind of the lay of the land now. Everybody's designing a set, whether they're good, bad, great, but everyone is doing it just because it's fun. I can't blame them. Some of them will never see the light of day, and some of them, if they take the right critiques, will become great, and then some of them are just already perfect. So
yeah, I'm sure Keycap Renders had your Discord messages pretty full whenever that came
I
out.
think it had everybody's messages everywhere. Like every channel was just like, there wasn't even conversation. It was just every person posting their renders of their idea. Because
Yeah,
I think it pushed out a lot of good ideas, because a lot of the
Yeah.
sets that are running the rest of this year came from that wave.
Yeah.
So it did good.
Yeah, I'm really excited for GMK Dracula. I'm not often a fan of the kind of what's the set that just ran? Oblivion. The Oblivion mods, that kind of multicolor, but I'm
not
happy
either,
to know but that somehow managed to work. I was like, nope, you know what? I love this. And I'm like really happy that you jumped in. And I gotta say, man, if you're a designer and a vendor approaches you, that's probably a good a good feeling.
Well, yeah, the guy who's designing it, I don't think he realizes how good he is. Because like I kept telling him, I was like, which I think a lot of people have complimented and used his interest check as the standard of what interest check should be. Because like every render, he had the whole thing branded, everything was consistent. He even had the little programmer language even in the text. He made everything look cool. Like it was just full blown. You could tell this dude spent hours setting this up. He didn't just come home from work and be like, oh, I'm gonna pop up this interest check before I shower. It was like, and it goes a long way. And a lot of people have been saying that recently, that when they see that, they're like, it just makes the world a difference.
Yep. So what is your favorite part of running a group buy?
Oh, I think I wrote this down. I thought about some of these because I didn't want to do all my thinking
in the moment
on the screen. Oh, and I didn't write anything for this one. I guess the obvious answer, not obvious. Obviously, getting the keycap sets and them looking good. And then that last moment when you drop off the last shipment, that's a nice feeling. I just like the entire process. I'm not really in it for the end result. I just really like doing it from beginning to end. It's just fun. I've always liked the process of things more than getting to the end, because I feel like once I get to the end, I'm like, oh, okay, let's go to the next one. Like I haven't even put Modern Dolce on a keyboard yet.
Wow.
It's like I said, I don't have many keyboards to put it on. But it's like I got it. I was like, okay, we did it. On to Mizu. Next one. Let's do it. So
like a trooper.
Yeah.
Whether that's good or bad, I have no control, but that's kind of how it goes in my head.
Yeah. I mean, you've been pretty back to back to back this year so far with different sets. It seems like you're always running something.
Yeah, which if it keeps going, like I would love to just do one every month. Because it seems like that's what's going to be needed. Is every vendor is going to be running one every month. So I mean, obviously I would love to do that. I don't want to slow down. Which I just taking it day by day and making sure I don't do too much and make one of them suffer. So sometimes the designer of one that's months and months out is obviously very excited, but I'm like, I gotta wait. I gotta put my attention on this one that's running right now. And I'll do the same for you when your time comes, kind of thing. So it's kind of hard juggling all these people, screw it up and respond to customer service. It's like, but getting there.
Yeah.
I have to hire some people in the winter.
Yeah, someone in chat said my wallet politely requests that you slow down.
So true.
Which I try to space them out. Like there's custom colored ones that need 250, and there's stock color ones that need 150. So it's like if I have two that I can tell are going to be heavy hitters, big time sellers, I try to throw a nice, easy, normal set in the middle so that it's not like bam, 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 3 in a row. And then if people are going to take a break in between those two, it's not going to hurt us, kind of thing. So I try to plan them out in that way on purpose. Which I talk with Mike and some other vendors too to try to coordinate so that we don't have 2 Olivias hitting in the same month, 2 like Grail sets at the same time.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
best we can.
Except for in what was it like? Was it
August or April? Sorry,
April?
April.
When it was like the GMK Gauntlet. I think you had Mizu running, Metropolis.
I actually
ran.
skipped April for that exact reason.
Oh yeah, Mizu did run right after
That's
that.
right. Yeah.
I skipped April because I knew that that was happening, which I skipped June. Like I know my place. It's like, if I don't, I'm not gonna force it. And like we technically could have run Bliss in June, but I was like, there's no reason to force this and fail miserably and compete with Oblivion and Olive. I was like, you got to be strategic with it. So yeah, that's always fun too.
So contrary to the last question, what is your least favorite part about running a group buy?
Shipping, the actual shipping, boxing all bajillion of them up, just one after the other.
I love that you stream that.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I do some. I mean, it makes it go by faster if I'm not just sitting there by myself, endlessly boxing.
How excited are you to ship 1,000 Mizu desk mats?
It's gonna be. I don't even know where I'm gonna put it. Like I've never sold anywhere close to that many desk mats. Which there's just as many key sets too. Which I don't know if y'all saw the picture. I ordered the boxes for Minimal and Mizu, and it was 3 pallets that were taller than my garage. Which I somehow fit in my garage on the shelves. But I was like, now I had to find somewhere to put the actual keycaps. Which when I get them, like this, the day that they come in, I start packing, or like I count them, make sure everything's there. And I immediately start shipping because I'm like, I got to get these things out of here as fast as possible, so we're not sitting on keycap sets eating dinner. Like,
yeah, we'll skip the one I have right there. I don't really want to ask that anymore.
Okay.
We've already kind of answered that since.
Yeah, since 8008 was kind of the first one. Do you have any plans for another keycap set? Do you already have something in mind?
Yeah, I have a lot that I try, and then I'm like, nah. But there's 2 of them that I haven't really shown that I think have potential to happen. Neither one of them were like 8008, where I was like, oh, that's it. They're actually taking some work to try to get them how I think they need to be. But yeah, there's 2 of them. That's all I'm gonna say.
How on that note, how is it with what we talked about with the keycaprenders.com causing the GMK interest checks to explode? How is it kind of designing keycap sets now that we do have that kind of dibs mentality in this community, and the avoiding which key sets don't want to be too close to anything? How is designing keycaps in this kind of new climate of GMK keycaps?
That's a good way to put it. Dibs mentality. Which I think a lot of the people that we consider the best, the top tier key set people, they don't design something, say that they did it, have something with their name on it. They did it because they had a other reason. Anything besides that, I wanted this thing inspired me, anything like that. So I feel like a lot of that in May, where the keycap renders just brought it all on, it was just a lot of people that just wanted to have something with their name on it, which isn't bad. It's just, I don't know if that's the right motivation that's gonna get you something good most of the
Mhm.
time. So me, I've been a vendor for 2 years. I am or was a graphic designer by trade before this, before I was even in mechanical keyboard. So the second I came in, I technically could have immediately started designing key sets, which I kind of did in the background, but I didn't ever like Magic City didn't happen until 3 years after I came in. So I just had to wait for the one that I knew was going to work. Um, so as far as dibs mentality, I don't think that anyone really has dibs unless it's actually looks like it's going to be successful. Like if it's going to go to group buy or a lot of people are interested, then yeah, you need to stay away. But if it's one that somebody posted that was really not really that good and two people commented on it, and this person creates one that's somewhat similar and everyone loves it, it's like, I don't know if we got dibs on that. So it's
Yeah.
a weird gray area.
Very.
I think the community kind of judges and decides for itself overall if you step back and look.
Mhm. I'm gonna ask another real quick question. We got some very exciting news today. GMK 9009 is going to round 3. So if you did not see, if you're in chat and you did not see, 9009 is going to have a round 3. There have been some changes as well. So maybe I guess talk about. I mean, I know people want that because 9009 and Muted are two sets that are kind of loved by most. You know, it's
Yeah.
either do you like the warm or do you like the cool? Like which one do you like, and go for it. And that's just kind of that plain set. So you know, a lot of it's not offensive to anyone.
Yeah.
It's just kind of there. But how is that process of getting round 3 and then the changes that you made to, you know, some of these keycap, the legend placements?
Yeah, I've always called 9009 basically a must have for every enthusiast. I think Muted is too, but it's somewhat off limits, I guess. It's kind of because it was technically created. 9009 has just always been there. So the very first time I ran it, we ran it because the prices were so high from round 1 that nobody could get it. So we were like, this is a good time. Let's do it. Everybody can get it for normal price. So we've always talked about running round 3 for the exact same reason. Like once it comes to where these prices are just getting too high, and it's been long enough to where a lot of new people have come in and they can't get this default go-to key set, we'll give them another shot, and everybody that's come in the past 2 years can get their copy of the go-to. I can put this on anything I buy key set. Um, and it just felt like a good time. We've been working on it for a long time, just preparing for it. The changes we didn't want to just run the same thing again. Even though we easily could have and just said exactly the same thing as round 2, everybody would have that couldn't get round 1 or round 2 or have shined it up or for any reason would have bought round like. But I guess for the enjoyment of the process, we wanted to kind of take it up a notch and improve on it if we could. So I mean, we included the icon mods just as another option. Um, Worked really hard on the 40s and ortho kit just to try to cover every layout you can get. Um, but the new legends we've been talking about for a really long time. It kind of came in the middle of Modern Dolch with that icon kit. When we had the renders, and then once we got them in real life, if you have a full icon set on your keyboard, bottom row, every single row icon mods, not align the um, and you're like, every single mod on this keyboard is center aligned except these two keys. It's like, what the heck is happening? And then if you use caps lock, that one is also not centered. So me and Jan have been messing with for a while, trying to just narrow it down to which ones needed to be fixed. And I've talked with GMK for a long time, sending them pictures with lines and keycaps next to each other, showing them this needs to be like this. And they'd send me a bunch of information like Cherry designed it this way for this reason. They knew what they were doing. And basically saying when it was first created, no one ever really thought that this cap would be used with this keycap set. So now that we're enthusiasts, we're mixing and matching everything just to make new things. So eventually things aren't going to match up anymore if you're just grabbing and pulling from all over the place. So we thought if we can just fix these few legends, we can make it all consistent and all exactly the same all over the entire board where you don't have these two random things that don't match. So we just finally got the go ahead that we could do it. So we did it. And then I decided to fix the little weird 40s enters while we were along for the ride because those have always really bugged me. That I don't know if y'all have seen them, but like your regular icon enter, the vertical line is like a tiny little bitty stick. It just barely goes up. But on the ortho and 40s, the line almost goes all the way to the top of the cap and almost touches it. It's like really weird how much different it is. And every single person's like, what the heck is wrong with that keycap? So I was like, it's time to fix it.
Like, I have control over this. Let me make it right.
Oh, when we randomly threw that Mizu 40s kit in the day after the group I ended, I never suggest doing that. But when they showed me the renders, I was like, is that right? Like I literally told them, hey, you need to fix this, the enter. And then they showed me a picture because I didn't sell the 40s 9009 kit. And I was like, holy crap, that's actually what it looks like. I was like, why does it look like that? And they were like, I don't know. Everyone hates this enter key. So
I'm going to ask one last question about 9009. Why did you get rid of the purse?
that was a discussion. The purse has always been a controversial legend. I think it's very polarizing. You either love it or you just despise it. In round 2, we had the purse. But just because we had so many like options for that caps lock spot, because we added the new Apple style caps lock with like the split arrow, kind of like Slate had. So we were like, we have that one, we have the stepped of that one, we have the stepped control, we have the control, we have the icon. We're like, okay, we can't have 7 different versions of this one key, so we just dropped it. And that was one less legend because we would have had to center that one as well. So it was just going to cost too much for a legend that a lot of people hate. I like it. Don't tell anybody, but I like it.
I love a purse.
I'm not a big purse guy.
Oh. It's okay to be wrong.
See how it is.
So, moving on, the question that I'm sure a third of the people listening.
Yeah. Probably the question that I'm most excited to ask. What can you tell us about the legendary, the mysterious Bauer?
I've really shared everything that I have to share. I'm not really hiding anything. It's very close. I'm just somebody that I don't want, like, I want everything to be exactly how it's going to be when the customer gets it before it starts. I don't want to be figuring things out after I've gotten the money. Just because I don't know. I feel nervous doing that because I'm scared that I'll get the money and then it'll end up that this can't happen. And now I've sold people with it happening. Which the reason it's delayed is I swapped factories. So I had to wait for another proto from them to make sure that they could do it. But then when I got it, there were some problems, so now I'm having to wait on a second, like last minute rush version of it. So then I'm ready to go. Which the reason I haven't said anything is just because I don't know because I don't know when it's going to show up. I don't know if it's going to be right or if it's going to be wrong again. So I just don't want to sell anybody anything if I don't know if it's going to be right.
Absolutely.
Very respectable. How is designing the bottom row?
That was the funnest part. Like, I've never designed a keyboard. I've never designed anything in 3 dimensions in my life. I'm a graphic designer, so I design things in 2 dimensions on a screen, logos and vectors. So it comes naturally that a professional designer in keyboarding hobby will eventually want to try out keyboard. Even people that aren't designers of any kind design keyboards or attempt. So I was like, I'm going to attempt. So I downloaded the program. I didn't even know how to work it. I still barely know how to work it. And I just like crawled my way through it and probably did it in all the wrong ways and went the really long way around to get to the final product. But it was very frustrating, very fun, very scary. Waiting on the first prototype. No, Siri, I'm not talking to you. The bottom row is kind of where I started. That's the whole, like, before the design ever was even a thing, I started with the layout. I kind of decided I'm going to design a keyboard because I was at work as a graphic designer and I use Alt 1,000 times a day. A ton of shortcuts in Illustrator use Alt. And I would hit the Windows key 1,000,000 times a day on accident. And it would really throw off my flow. Which at the time I didn't have a wing keyless keyboard, but I was using my M65. And I was like, I love 65%, but I want wing keyless. I was like, okay, that's been done. There's tons of them that have wing keyless blockers. And then I was like, why are these blockers not the same? Why is one huge and one tiny? I was like, if you shift this over 0.25 units, they're the same. Which I guess you can see in 9009 that things being consistent across things is a theme in my mind. So I was like, how has no one ever done this before? Equal wing keyless blockers that's not on a TKL. So I did it in KLE and I was like, oh, it's actually possible. The units, they actually work. So the second that I did that, I started drawing in my little notebook on the actual design. Yeah, the layout is what started it all. And I was just very excited to have found something that hadn't been done. Yeah, that's kind of hard to do nowadays.
Yeah, it looks fantastic. Like,
Thank you.
ever since I've first saw it a couple months back, it's yeah, it looks awesome. I'm really excited. I can't wait to get one. Can't wait for it to run.
Trying to find a picture of it so I can post in chat. If you guys do not know,
If you look in the renders for the round 3 of 9009,
Oh yeah,
it's
there's some in there.
It's the first set of the render gallery.
I just posted a link to Instagram of.
But
I
it's
just, I
kind of
love how
still.
the alts are so symmetrical. That's what I like.
It's awesome. Like, I was so excited. I was like, it works. No one's done it, so I was scared to tell anyone. Like I didn't tell but 2 people for the longest time because I was like, there's people that know how to design keyboards way better and way faster than me. So it's like, if it gets out and I showed this layout, somebody could have a keyboard done, designed, produced before I've even like come close to finishing. So I was a little paranoid. So I only showed a few people. And somehow I ended up showing Wilbur, and he really liked it, which was like a really cool feeling and honor to have the Wilbur want to do the PCB. So it kind of was just like, I don't know how to do this. Like, how is this happening?
I was not prepared. But I love the fact like the brass just peeks through just so subtly. That little edge on the front. It's nice.
Yeah, like I guess I have a style that I've found organic and strong at the same time. So I kind of wanted some curves, but at the same time, a nice foundation weighted to the table. Yeah, I mean, I just got lucky. I think. I don't know. I don't really know how I got here.
Coming from someone who, like, I mean, you can ask Osiris. I despise 65%. This is one of the few that I actually like aesthetically. It makes a lot of sense. It's symmetrical. I think my biggest gripe about 65% is it's not symmetrical,
Yeah.
but this one somehow feels symmetrical. With
It is
the-
weird. I thought the same thing. I'm like, it's not actually symmetrical, but
Right,
it
there's no-
somehow it feels symmetrical.
There's nothing symmetrical about the right side, but you have that. I mean, it's just. I mean, well done
Thank
on the
you.
design.
Looks great.
So, let's see. So, first, I'll start off this question. And by the way, if you guys want to ask him questions, we only have a few left on our end. Just make sure to tag us at Mechs on Deck. I will try. Some of you asked some questions I've been trying to write down, but just tag us so I can find them easily. But first of all, Roll Tide.
Roll Tide.
And secondly, being from the South, you're kind of all alone down there, kind of all in your in the keycap world. You are all down there by yourself, but although Texas, we're kind of on the Bible. We're the belt buckle to the Bible Belt. But you know, how is have you tried to? I know we've seen some design choices, at least on kind of how you're the Dixie Mech branding, and I remember you bringing up. I forgot. I wish I knew. I think it was either another streamer. They had you and a couple other vendors on to talk about your company, but kind of taking that Southern approach to your company. I mean, one naming it Dixie Mech. So how have you kind of taken your put your flair and your Southern charm and brought it to the keyboard world?
Yeah, I don't know why, but that's always been a thing that I've wanted to do. I guess just because now the meme and internet age is in full effect. Alabama gets a lot of crap. I mean, and rightfully so. A lot of the stuff that we get crap for is pretty crappy. But that's usually the only thing you see is the crappy stuff, and we're good at football. That's basically all anyone knows. So I was like, I always am annoyed. I'm like, we're not bad. Like, it's very good people here. So it's like when I first started, I was like, I think my slogan was something about Southern hospitality, something. So I kind of was just like attempting to give Alabama a good mark out in the world and say, hey, that's not very bad. I don't really know why. I guess I have state pride. It's kind of like that thing. There's a lot of crappy stuff happening in the US that we don't like, but we're all still very proud to be from the US. It's like a weird thing. So it's kind of the same thing.
I mean, you're talking to Texans.
Yeah.
We have stores the size of Walmart dedicated to our state. So
Loud and
Yeah.
proud.
So I mean, it's
We
very
get it.
prideful around here. So I was I wanted to go that route, but I didn't want to do it like the obnoxious, trashy Alabama way. So I still I guess I'm slightly a redneck, but I'm not at the same time. Some parts of me are, but then when I get into the design part of me, I'm not at all. So I guess I was just meshing those together, which isn't something that's seen often. So it was just kind of fun, I guess. A little trying to make it unique. I don't know if it is, but I guess subconsciously it just happened that way.
Absolutely.
Hey man, Roll Tide. You guys have Crystal burgers. I'm jealous enough as
Dude.
I'll never eat Crystal.
Crystal's so good. How can you not?
when
go
it's
for
taken
Crystal?
away from you, it's terrible. It's terrible. It's disgusting. But there's
98%
nothing-
bread.
Yeah, but there's
Yeah.
nothing like going and eating 14 hamburgers.
I guess so.
Listen, when you live in a state where it doesn't exist and you go there like once every 4 years, like you pay for it the
Yeah, I get
next
that.
4 weeks.
Well,
Yeah.
and what's even worse is that we had it for like 5 years and then it got taken away.
Oh.
Yep.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah,
We have they're slowly disappearing here
Yeah.
because no one eats them.
So we got a couple questions. Are you working on any switches?
Yes. I figured if anybody that's cool in this community, you gotta have your own Switch. Um, so I had been working on it for a while earlier this year. I don't even know if I'm allowed to say anything. I guess I'm allowed. I was just told not
You do
to.
not have to reveal anything. You do not.
I think I'm allowed, and I kind of want to, but I don't know if I should. But yes, I
Straw
am
poll it.
working on. It's not like a. It's basic. Here, I'll say it. I was working with Zeal because it's a thing that people like to get some cool custom Zeal switches. They're amazing switches, but some people have slightly different preferences. And then all of the crazy custom switch, all the switch drama happened.
Yep.
All kinds of all severities, and then it was just shut down. It was like, no, everyone stay away. No more switches. So I thought that kind of ruined it. But I think might have it back. But there's nothing like official. But maybe when my top 3 switch answer, it might kind of tell you what it might be. Got a good name.
I'm
Which I
excited.
really, really want to say, but I'm not.
No.
Name is so good.
It'll I'm sure it'll crash the Discord for like 20 minutes.
Sure.
So what else is in
It really
chat?
is. When is your next hot track dropping?
I just dropped one like last week.
The people need more.
They need more. It's a good thing to have. They want the hot tracks.
Yeah, I don't know how that happened. Actually, I do. Top Clack had a song contest, and I said, okay, let's do it. And then I was like, oh, that was kind of fun. And then I found myself, every time I was in the car and I heard a song, my head was trying to change it to a keyboard song, like every song. And I was like, what is happening?
You're the Weird Al Yankovic of keyboards.
So I was like, okay, I'll make another one. And I was like, ooh, this is a popular song. This one's so easy. It was like 5 words. And then I started getting annoyed myself hearing it. So I was like, I got to make another one so that I can get this one to go away. So that's when I made the 3rd one. So maybe if I can get like 2 more, I can have a cool little EP.
There you go.
I do have like 3 written.
Should try to like release it and then package it in with like 8008, so you can get those first week album sales up, and maybe you can like chart somewhere.
Somebody told me to sell like actual little vinyls, like custom press vinyls,
like a little 7-inch.
Like-
That'd be pretty sweet.
Yeah, it sounded fun. I asked my buddy, the guy who did the song that I used for Mech Madness. I don't know if y'all remember it for the hype video.
I don't know if I actually knew there was a hype video.
Yeah, it was pretty fun. He's one of my friends around here, and I messaged actual studio time in case that day ever came and I needed to actually sound good. These are just one take things. I hit record, I do it all the way through once, and then I'm done in like an hour.
There you go. One and done, man.
That's the way to do it.
Osiris and I both hail from musical backgrounds, and
maybe I'll feature y'all. Okay.
Heck yeah. Hey,
I'm down.
I'm down, man. I'm down. Listen, we've both recorded albums before in the past, and if you really want to hear them, don't hit me up because I probably won't tell you where to find it. Osiris will tell you where to find me, but he won't.
I'll tell
I
you
was
where to
trying to
find
get
us.
Teha Types to get in on one.
Oh, there you go.
So
he's in
that's
the
how
chat somewhere, I think. I don't know if he's still here, but Teha, start drinking apple juice, man. You're gonna be singing a lot.
Yeah, we're gonna have a hot track with a bunch of.
I'll let you
feature
find my stuff. I can tell you probably won't like it. Well, you might, but
You might.
it's very heavy, very heavy.
Oh, I like that.
We posted a video recently of this is very off track, and I apologize. I went to one of Osiris's shows, and he's in like used to be, it's like 6 years ago. He was in like a super heavy metal rock band, and I got like, and they made a music video from this, or maybe not a music video, they just recorded the concert, And I'm sitting there and I'm like, I don't even really like this music, but you got to go support your bros
Yeah.
and get out there and have a good time. And I'm just headbanging in the front row and we're just having a
You got the
blast.
hair for it.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Of course I walk in, they're like, oh, you love this music. And I'm like, nope, not even a little bit. But you got to support your homies. So I go out there and some dude like twice my size. I'm a big person. I'm not that tall, but I'm a large man. And some dude just like body checks me onto the stage. And so I'm trying to get up from the stage and then I just get body checked again right back on the stage. And I mean,
Sounds like you had a normal time.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, Cyrus will tell you I'm a hard person to knock over. So that guy came out of nowhere.
Yeah, he's
It's funny.
he's a big dude. It was pretty funny.
Yeah. But how is working with Rama Caps? Who's that? VPR?
Yep, VPR 555.
I love it. They're another person like GMK that just it's very fun to work with, very easy at this point. Which Kate is who does most of the like artisan keycap side. That's all her. So I don't actually do much of Rama himself, but with Rama works. Because he's a busy man, But Kate is really easy to work with. She's very understanding when you screw it up or keep changing your mind about things. So it's really fun. And they just make amazing products. So whatever you give them, they're gonna make it look amazing. So
Yeah. They have the Apple thing. So
yeah, I call them the Apple of keyboards. That's what they
Yeah.
are in my mind.
I think we've talked about that a few times, or
Yeah.
they very much are. So
They rock the aesthetic.
Yeah.
The general
They know how to-
general term of the aesthetic. That's what to say.
So we'll move into our last two questions that we've asked everybody so far.
What is your favorite and least favorite thing about the community right now?
Oh man, that's the stuff I meant to write down earlier.
This is the one that you
Um,
really have to kind of prepare for because it's a lot.
It's a
I
loaded
think the
question.
favorite is easy. I like the people and the relationships and the friends and the non-keyboard stuff actually. That comes along with it that has just you fell into and you're like, how the heck does this happen? You go to meetups and I don't even look at the keyboard. I'm not talking about keyboard. And you're just there hanging out with friends that you made on the internet, which you've always been told when you're a kid isn't the people you should be becoming friends with. So I think in that respect, I think it's kind of cool that we've like proven that it's possible. So that's my favorite part is all of the non-keyboard stuff. And then I guess my least favorite part might be the exact opposite of that. Just all the people that aren't friendly. There's a lot of people that just are constantly looking for things that are wrong with things. Which I guess obviously sometimes there are times to call things out. But I mean sometimes it's just like gets old. Actually, I know my actual answer. That was a cop-out answer. My actual answer is I hate memes. I hate them.
Sorry,
I
Carl.
hate
Yeah, cool.
I hate going into a channel and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna have a conversation with somebody. This is gonna be good. And it's just meme after meme after meme. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm out of here. It might be the old geezer in me that I'm getting old now, but it's the same jokes over and over again. That's what I don't like.
Absolutely.
There we go.
I don't dislike the people. I just don't like the memes.
It can be they can get annoying. That's not that there's not really much of an argument there. So, all right, last question: The Office or Parks and Rec?
I've been thinking about this one.
Hold on, you kind of
and
cut
I've actually
out.
watched both shows this week. I was kind of doing some research. So both shows were on television, syndicated, just watching. So I turned The Office on, and I couldn't change it. I couldn't turn it off. I couldn't change the channel. I couldn't turn it to the thing that we were actually planning. And we've seen it 8 times. Parks and Rec, it was very easy to change for me. So that was kind of a right off the bat, possibly answer. But I think The Office is better for many reasons. There are some negatives to The Office that Parks and Rec is better at, but I don't think it quite pushes it over. I think Parks and Rec from beginning to end was just great all the way through. There were not many lulls, which is hard to do. The Office had that weird time, and it was like, should they have ended this? Should they not have? But I think the relationships were just too good. Like, I don't know. There's something about shows when they go so deep into the characters that they feel like they're your best friend. I really like TV, if you can't tell. But The Office just did that. It was just like you really loved those characters, and I didn't quite get that. Even though some of the characters in Parks and Rec, I actually liked the characters better, like Ron Swanson. Gosh, there's so many. Everyone in that show is hilarious, but I didn't quite get the depth. So for me, that's why it's The Office.
It's okay to be wrong. So,
There's just so much more development because of so much more time with The Office, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's only 2 extra seasons, and you could argue that the last 2 seasons of The Office are complete garbage. So
Yeah, but
if you want to go seasons 1 through 7, Michael Scott versus Leslie Knope. It's a tough one. I mean, it's a tough one.
tough.
Everyone loves this show. Like, these are always people's top 1 and 2
very
shows.
hard.
You also are struggling with the fact that like they didn't come out at the same time too. So like you have people started watching, you know, for us, for Chewy and I, like started watching The Office when I was in middle school. Like you know.
But also Parks and Rec was like they copied The Office.
Yeah.
So they said, here's everything The Office screwed up on. Now we know not to do it.
Yeah. That's
kind of
a
cheating.
head start.
Yeah.
So I think that evens it out with the bad season of The Office.
Mhm.
And even in the bad seasons of The Office, the storyline might have been bad, but they were still developing the characters enough to where you didn't want to not watch.
Greatest love story of our generation, Jim and Pam.
I really think it is.
You can't argue that. That's
I mean,
the
that's
thing.
like
That
the
there's
standard.
no better.
Yeah.
So
I like Daryl a lot too. Daryl was my dude.
Daryl's he had the best exit from the show ever.
Yes, he did. All of them were good, dude.
Yeah.
Everyone in that show was top notch.
But thank you, Dixie. Thank you very much. Thank you for everyone who joined us. If you would like to plug whatever, I know you've got some key set running right now on your website, and if you want to plug anything.
SA Bliss is running right now till July 28th. We hit 350 base kits. So it's doing very, very well. So I think it's the best SA R3 set ever. Not that there's many to beat, but it's set a high standard. I think it's a set that looks good on any board. So don't miss out on that. I think we priced it pretty good for SA. And then after that, 8008 in August. And then all the other ones we talked about.
Mm-hmm.
Exciting.
And then Bauer maybe one day.
Maybe one day.
Hopefully soon.
There's a lot of stuff. I don't like chilling. I feel it's too much stuff.
It's good to be busy.
Yeah.
So if you guys do not know, we are going to be having the designer of SA Bliss next week. Dixie actually helped us set that up, so thank you for that. We'll have her on. Is it Mentorly? Is that?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think so. I've
she
only
changes
ever
her-
read it, so
Okay, there you go.
never said it.
We'll be having her on next week to talk about SA Bliss as it goes into its final days. Hopefully, just continuing to set those high records. So, but thank you. Quick shout out again to our sponsors, switchmod.net. You can go to switchmod.net/Mechs on deck to get 4% off all of your lube and springs and stickers of funny things from Krelbit. He also has he even said how to say it in chat earlier, but I'm going to mess it up. And that's close to MLQ. So if you want a very, very unique key set, there's that. And then Zap Cables, you can head over there, check him out. He is one of our great and awesome partners. We have some cool stuff coming with him soon.
Yeah, absolutely. We're really excited. There's going to be some cool stuff in the next couple weeks, couple months. So just want to run through some thank yous real quick. Thank you, Talisman Solutions, for 11 bits. All the follows. So I'll run through these. Tiger Eyes, 144. Langel Leandia?
I'm glad you're doing these and not me.
I've never said that one either.
Naze? Thanks,
Nazi.
Nazi. Mr. Petrov, thank you for the sub one more time. Captain Schwa, thanks for the follow. Tim2112, thanks for the follow. Ham Time, thank you. Nubblesworth, thank you. Newton Apple, thank you. Ion Hydra, thank you. The Homie, thanks, my dude. Metallic Charles, thank you for the 1,000 bits. And La Cody, thank you for the follow. And Violet Vickery, or Viceroy.
There we go.
Thank you for the follows. We appreciate it. Again, Dixie Mech, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me on. Oh, and Neflock, this mustache is for you. I had to try to follow up.
We'll see if we can get Mentally to do a mustache as well.
Yeah.
I have a feeling that's not going to happen.
That might be a little different.
But yeah. All right.
It's fun, guys.
Yep.
Look forward to the next
Buy a Switch test. Yeah, whenever the Bauer comes, man. Well, we're gonna drag you right back on here.
Keyboard version of this too.
I don't. We had talked about. We are going to be moving forward with interviews. So spoiler to anyone who's still here.
Oops.
We are going. Yeah, that's totally fine. We don't keep a lot of secrets. We are going to be continuing with interviews. I don't know if we'll have a kind of idea. It was actually, if you want to know, the July Keycap thing kind of came up. We were talking about what we were going to do for this month, that kind of streams, and how we were wanting to change. Cyrus wasn't, how I envisioned our streams is Cyrus and I were just not seeing eye to eye. And then we were like, oh, why don't we do this? And then I was like, oh, let's do why don't we make a theme out of it? But themes can limit you really fast.
Yeah.
So I don't know if we'll do a theme every month, but this month it was just kind of like, oh, well, there's so many right now, and that's a easy thing. But we're going to move forward still with interviews. And
yeah, we might do.
I like that.
Every couple months, do like a theme or something. I know we'll definitely do a series of keyboard designers, but yeah.
Yeah, I think people just like hearing from people.
Yep.
They talk.
I mean, you talked
I know
about
I do.
The community. People like
Yeah.
people like hearing other people talk. So
yeah, it's cool to hear the
Keep it
behind
up.
the scenes. Yeah.
A lot of people like your stuff, so keep it up. I like it a lot.
thank you.
Thank you. We appreciate that.
So that note, buy a Switch tester, guys. And we will see you soon. This posted on YouTube tomorrow at 11. I'll make sure Dixie has it so he can post it on his channel. If you haven't joined us on our channel, I will post that in the chat real quick. But thank you.
Bye
Roll
now.
Tide.
Roll Tide.